today's episode, we're talking about how you can take time off over Christmas and still bring money into your business while you're enjoying your turkey.
Welcome to JFDI with the Two Lauras, the podcast for freelance social media managers, where we share our decades of experience to help you to build a business that not only makes you a profit and supports your family, but you actually enjoy working in, because otherwise, what is the point? In today's episode, we're talking about how you can sit back and relax over the festive season without worrying that you're not bringing money into your business, because we all deserve a break. But even when Santa's coming, we still have bills to pay. But before we dive in, we want to say a big thank you to our friends at Agora Pulse for sponsoring this episode and allowing us to bring all of this free advice to you week after week.
After this episode, you're probably going to have a ton of questions and we'd love to help answer those for you. After all, there's only so much we can share on a podcast. So we'd love to invite you to come and hang out in our free Facebook community. It's called the Social Media Managers Hub, and it's where all of our podcast listeners hang out. To join the group, all you need to do is search the Social Media Managers Hub on Facebook or go to thesocialmediamanagershub.com. Pop your email address in the request to join and we'll let you in as soon as we can to continue chatting about everything we dive into today.
Okay, let's do this. I feel quite festive today, and I feel like I should have come to our recording with some tinsel on.
I know, I should have put a Christmas jumper on.
Not that anyone would have seen it whilst they're listening, but that's not the point. So let's talk then about how can we take time off over Christmas but still make money? Because I think there's a lot of focus from people about, you know, you need to do this to take time off and you need to automate that to take time off and blah, blah, blah. But there's no real talk about how when you do some of these things, you can still actually make money. Like we want to make money even if we're just sitting and eating our quality streets.
Can I just say as well, to just take things one step back, there is nothing wrong with not taking time off over Christmas.
100%.
I feel like there's this kind of, oh, we should take time off, we should enjoy time with our family. Whereas quite frankly, Christmas is, I was going to really swear then, really shitty time for some people. And some people actually might just want to carry on with their work. And I just want to say, no bloody judgment here. Like, I quite like putting my feet up and eating my body weight in quality streets, which is a lot. But I equally respect the fact that not everyone wants to do that. And not everyone can.
No. And equally, if you need to work to get away from your family, like I may well use that as an excuse myself, then yeah, crack on.
Yeah, the amount of emergency meetings that happen.
100%. There's going to be content that I'm going to have to create.
yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, so if you want to take that time off, to take time off generally as a social media marketer, it's incredibly difficult, I think. But it's not impossible. And, you know, we've done similar podcasts and we've got lots of resources within the Inner Hub, our membership, helping people take time off over summer. And it's been great to see how many people have been able to kind of down tools over summer. So we want, if people choose to people to have that same enjoyment of Christmas if that's what they want.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be over the Christmas period, right? I'm going to have time off in December because William is having quite a serious operation, so I'm going to have time off. So whether you need to take time off to go and eat your turkey or you want to go and lie on a beach or anything else, then you can use all of this advice anytime, really. Yeah.
So this is about how we can take time off, down tools, not piss off our clients, but also make more money if you want to.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so let's start by just tackling the client thing. So you've got clients, you've got social media management clients, maybe they're coaching clients as well, I suppose, any recurring income type of clients. How do we ensure that they understand that you're taking time off? Like
that they can't send you a message on Christmas Day?
And that has happened to me actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think sometimes, and this happens a lot, not all the time, some clients are brilliant, but often I think clients forget that we're freelancers. We're not employees.
Yeah, and I think also it's weird, isn't it? Because they forget that we're not employees, but equally they probably wouldn't message their employee on Christmas Day.
No.
So it's this weird boundary thing that they have going on. And I don't really understand the mindset. But anyway, what can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen? It comes back, doesn't it, to having all of your systems and processes in place. And especially like at the very beginning of your relationship with working with a long-term client, with your contract, with your terms of business, making sure that all of that is outlaid from the outset so they know when you work, when you don't work, all of that stuff. But these might be clients who've been with you for months and months or years and years even. So it's a case of kind of just reminding, isn't it? And it's like, it might feel awkward to remind them of what you do and don't do, but all businesses will have a sign in their window saying we are not open on Christmas Day. It's not unreasonable for us to do the same.
No, and I think it's just, I've worked with some of my clients for like 5 years now, and I won't find it awkward at all telling them what's happening. And because the conversation will go, right, I'm thinking about what will happen over the Christmas period. They close down for Christmas, which to be fair probably helps with that. So I'll be saying, what content do you want to go out over Christmas? Bearing in mind there will be no staff team to respond to inquiries. What's our strategy for that? And to remind you, my last working day will be blah, 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 and I will be back on blah, 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 blah. So I think that conversation can easily happen because you will have to have a conversation with your clients, because Christmas and New Year, it's a funny time of year for all businesses. And some people go, they're busy. That's a key point for them. Some people go really quiet. So there's not a one set rule, I don't think, on how to approach this. Is going to be very much dependent on the client and depending on their business. But you will have to have a conversation with them about what their strategy is over that period of time. So that is your opportunity to kind of remind them, just to remind you, I take this period of time off. And as you mentioned, having it in your terms of business, I've always got in there that I take bank holidays off, what I'll do during kind of Christmas and summer holidays, those kind of things. So make sure it's in there so you can refer back to it if anyone says, oh, hang on a minute, I didn't know you dared to take a bank holiday off. Yeah.
We had an email, I can't remember who it's from, but it was in our inbox recently, and below the email signature, it said, just to let you know, I am taking time off from X to Y dates. And I thought that was brilliant because regardless of whether or not they are somebody who, we work with long term, because I really cannot remember who it was, I think that's brilliant because even if you've had that conversation, that's a good reminder constantly, but it's also setting expectations for new people who are coming into your inbox of when you're going to be available in that period. And like the earlier you can do that and just have it below your signature, I think is a really good idea.
I do that.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you? Give her a gold star.
Definitely worth it. And on that note, that whole out of office reply, you need to have that on, and we can talk a little bit more about that, but you need to enforce it just as much as they need to enforce it. So if your out of office reply says, I will not be in the office from the 22nd of December until the 4th of January, I will not be in touch, type of whatever you say, don't then reply to that email, because what you're doing is saying to them, actually, you can contact me. It's fine.
You're special.
Yeah. Well, you don't want you're going to have to enforce it just as much as they need to enforce it. And I think that's really important because we are, by nature, a lot of us are people pleasers, aren't we? And we want our clients to think that we're responsive and helpful and useful and they can't possibly get rid of us. But actually you really do deserve a break if you choose to take one.
Yeah, 100% agree. And on the out of office point that you were just making, people kind of miss an opportunity quite often with their out of office responses, and they just say, I'm currently on holiday, I'm back on whatever date, and that's it. But your out of office reply could actually help somebody who's dropping into your inbox while you're away, so that when you come back, you don't even need to deal with them. Like it could be that it has in there like a link to your most popular blogs or a link to your most popular lead magnets that will really help somebody when they're emailing you. But also
your pre-qualify form.
Yeah, exactly. You can have in there your pre-qualifying form. So if somebody is emailing you saying, I'm thinking about hiring you, I want to work with you, how can you tell me more information? And they get an out of office reply that says, if you're thinking about working with me, this is the process you need to go to. Click here, come and fill in my form. I'll get back to you when I come back from my break. Then you don't have to go through all that process again. And they've already given you all the information. They are kind of in that mindset that, right, we've given them the information. We're going to hear back from them in the new year. brilliant. We could cross that off our list. We don't need to worry about that anymore. And then when you do get back to them and you've paid attention to everything they've said and you've got back to them in the time that you've said, like that's immediately given them a really good kind of first impression, hasn't it? So think about how you can make that out of office autoresponder work really well for you to solve problems and to kind of position you well so that when you come back, like I said, you haven't got a massively full inbox of things that you actually have to action.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Okay, so back in terms of kind of setting those boundaries and managing expectations with your clients, I think, and I've just touched on that in terms of some businesses are really, really busy at Christmas time. Some businesses are quieter. So this really does depend. But it's incredibly important to be thinking about this now. Like, what are your deadlines come Christmas? When is it you want to get them to get you, the most relevant content that you need to get through that Christmas period, or any key messages, or what are they doing about January sales, or are they going to do anything for Boxing Day? All of that thing you need to be saying to your client probably now, right, what's our plans? So you can go away and think about build that strategy together, think about what content you need. You'll then need to say, okay, when do I need this content by? Now you might think, oh, well, if they get content to me by X date, I can turn it around and it will be in the scheduler by this date. Just remember how crazy December is. Like, if you're anything like me, you'll have nativity plays, there'll be Christmas bloody parties all the time. There'll be more social things where you have to go and see your long lost aunt. The only time you ever see them,
Amazon knocking on your door every 5 minutes.
Yeah, you won't be able to concentrate. You'll be trying to hide presents and play. It's just full on. I can't wait. So that lead up to Christmas, it is really important that you just give yourself that flexibility. There is no point, literally, crawling through the door on the 25th of December. Absolutely.
And on that point that you've just made, I think it's important to remember that it's not just you who will be like that. Your clients might be like that. So you need to make sure that you've given them the deadlines that you need stuff way before, so that you're not chasing them whilst they're running around doing all of the Christmas parties and, dealing with their hangover after the work office party and all of that stuff. You want to make sure that you've got what you need early so that they don't get kind of tied up too.
Especially if they're businesses that are big and busy in December. So imagine if you're for example, an e-commerce where you've got a prime gift buying business, they are going to be flat out until those last delivery dates or postal dates, whatever they're called. So it's important that you are aware of that. So if you know that December is a really busy time for your client, then just say, look, it's November, whatever day, let's have this conversation now so I don't have to bother you in December, for example. So it's hard to be very specific because you'll have clients that fall into that e-commerce category, for example, but you'll also have clients that don't. So you just want to consider your individual clients and think backwards. What day am I finishing? How long am I going to need to allow for the Amazon deliveries and the nativities and everything? How long extra am I going to need because of all of that? So therefore, what is my deadline for my clients? And then you may even want to give that a few extra days so you haven't got a buffer from your clients in terms of if they do forget. So just work backwards in the calendar. And probably what you'll realise is you're at that point now that you need to be having these conversations now.
Yeah. And don't just do this for your clients. Do this for yourself as well, for your own marketing. And we're going to talk about how you can make money in a minute, but where you're working backwards for what you need from your clients, you should also be doing that and working backwards for what you need for your own content, for what you want to be going out over Christmas, for what you want to be ready in the scheduler for over New Year, all of that stuff, so that you don't have to think about it right at the last minute. It's done. And you, one of the things that I always remember, one of the first things, tips that you gave to me all the way back years and years ago, was when you're scheduling now, if you add in additional content now, instead of scheduling one post, you're scheduling two, you quickly kind of build up all of this content in your scheduler without even realizing almost. And all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, oh, brilliant, it's full.
So instead of getting to that last week of term where we're on our burnout and thinking, right, I've got to create content now that's going to get me through from Christmas to New Year, which is like 10 days. Obviously, some people may just go, I'm not going to put anything out on social, but we'll come on to why we think that shouldn't be the case. But instead of getting to that point, in the point where you're really busy, you're tired, you're exhausted, you can't be arsed, so potentially then you're going to create content that is not going to be your best and just whack it out anyway mentality. Think now, right, when you sit down and want to create your content for your business, and this goes for your clients too. I used to do this with all of my clients, is every time I used to sit down, obviously it depends how many weeks you've got left, but I would add a couple more in, a couple of posts in that will either be relevant for Christmas or New Year or more kind of I could put anywhere. They could be moved around if necessary, so like not time specific. So I'm doing that in the lead up. So as you say, by the time you get to finishing at Christmas, you can look at the scheduler and you can go, oh, actually, you know what? I've pretty much done. Yeah, I might need to tweak a few things. Fair enough, fine. You know, you might need to change some bits, but at least you've done the heavy lifting. You've done the...
And you don't have to worry that you've got shit content going out because you know it's really good because you've had time to do it well.
So think now, and rather than thinking, shit, if you want to post every day over Christmas, for example, which... you know, some people will want to do, that's instead of thinking, right, I've got to think of 10 really good pieces of content in one sitting, you don't have to do that. You kind of just work yourself backwards and just do a couple at a time. And it's much more easier to think of it like that. Definitely recommend doing that.
Can we just talk about content over Christmas, like during the Christmas period? Because I feel like a lot of people will be like, yeah, but, you know, no one's really on social over Christmas. It's not worth me putting content out. People are not thinking about spending money and blah, blah, blah. And I know that I am not alone when I say this, but this doesn't just happen over Christmas, by the way. This happens pretty much every Sunday. But over the Christmas period, there will be multiple days where my husband will be asleep on the sofa, my child will be watching a movie, and I will be thinking, what am I going to do? I know, I'll pick up my phone and I'm going to scroll through social and there will be hardly any interesting content on there and I will be bored, right? Any great content that stands out to me, I will spend time reading it. I will spend time engaging with that person. I might go and buy from that person because there's such a small amount of great content around in those periods. So I feel like it's such a missed opportunity not to show up then. And this happens on a Sunday as well. Don't even talk to me about Sunday social media content. It's so dull. And, you know, note to myself, maybe we should start posting more on Sundays. But I just feel like you kind of might be missing a trick and missing an opportunity because people will be looking through socials while they're stuffing their turkey.
Yeah, people will have, you know, be full up of turkey. They'll have eaten all their quality streets or roses.
Definitely not roses. Can we just get that out there?
I do both, although I prefer roses. Then they've fallen out with their in-laws. They've fallen out with the kids over Monopoly. And they're just hiding somewhere. This might just be me. Scrolling, they're taking that 10 minutes just to kind of remove themselves from the stresses of Christmas. And also for me, I've got quite a big family, but I know I will be spending a lot of that Christmas break going up and down motorways. So I'll be on my phone. Obviously, I mean, I'm a passenger. I will not be driving and doing this, but I'll be a passenger on the motorways and just probably sat in traffic. And that's when I'll be doing a lot of scrolling. So I rarely leave my house, but over the Christmas time, I will be out and about more. So I will be sat in the car. So some people will want to have a digital detox and some people will want to remove themselves.
But you can still have a digital detox by scheduling your content. If you're a social media manager.
Absolutely. But in terms of just from a consumer perspective, I do think people are still, like, I can just picture it now that, you know, the post-turkey, slumped on the sofa, slightly wonky Christmas hat, and everyone just sat on their mobile phones not wanting to speak.
Really terrible movie on. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. The King's Speech. Nearly said the Queen's then. Anyway, and I also think with that in mind, there's a couple of other points to bear in mind. If your niche or your dream clients fall into that e-commerce, the people who were really busy in the lead up to Christmas, that post-Christmas where they are exhausted and they're thinking, I can't do this again next year. I can't do this because I was having to do all the social media. I was having to do all the ads, or the ads person was rubbish, or the social media person they were using was rubbish, or, you know, whatever they're like, they're exhausted and they're having this kind of,
or they've made no sales.
Or even, yeah, well, that's even worse. And they have this kind of debrief in their head of how can I do this differently because I can't do this again next year. That's where you need to go, ta-da! You can come and help. You know, I can help you. God, I can't get my words out. It's like I've been on the Christmas sherry. Yeah, you need to be in their faces saying, come. You know, come and pick me. I can help you. So, you know, get content out there now.
Yeah, but Laura, no one spends money over Christmas.
But they do. It's like, you know, that whole Boxing Day sale mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know.
Can I just say, right, we know from experience that people spend money over Christmas. Whether you work with e-com businesses, whether your clients are B2B, whatever, people spend money over Christmas. And every single Christmas day since we launched it, somebody has bought the Social Media Managers Toolkit. So don't tell us that people don't spend money or they don't think about their business on Christmas Day, because they 100% do.
Yeah.
And just have that in your mind, just thinking, okay, how can I tap into those people? Because other people might not be tapping into them. So it's like there's a whole world of opportunity for you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I feel like I just got right on my high horse then.
Yeah, although I wish I knew what we did each year to make someone buy on Christmas Day, because I don't actually know
tell
what we
them
do.
That it's not strategic.
Sorry. But the point is, people are buying, and I know I buy. I go into this, like, I know it's a bit of all this whole, you know, Boxing Day sales, January sales. It's all, you know, hot air, really, isn't it? But I definitely am like, right, what bargains am I going to get, or what can I get? Like, I just get quite excited.
Yeah, it's all that, oh, I wish I'd asked for that for Christmas. Oh, I'll just buy it kind of thing, isn't it?
Well, I always buy myself the best present. So, like, that's
to be
fine,
fair, you do buy good presents.
And then if people have the cash, the Christmas money, you know, they never know what to buy you. Oh, well, I'll just give you some money, or you tell me what you want and I'll buy it, like the Social Media Managers Toolkit, for example. Then you can just go buy it. And so I definitely think people are buying, I think, is the crux of it.
So then we started this episode talking about how we're going to help people to actually make money over Christmas. So shall we pivot straight into that right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, we have always made money as our business over Christmas, the whole Christmas period, the Christmas kind of couple of weeks break-ish that people tend to have. But even when we were both freelancers, we were looking at this the other day, weren't we? We kind of dusted off the old spreadsheets and had a look at what money we used to make over the Christmas period, aside from like our clients. And it would probably ranged between $750 to $1,000, $1,500 over the Christmas week, 2 weeks. That was additional income that we made through offers that we would put out there. So, you know, we're talking some of this goes back probably 6 or 7 years. So with inflation, you could double that now.
Yeah.
So you can definitely make money. I keep saying that. And so let's talk about the ways in which we've done that. And then we can kind of break down some steps that people should be taking. We all know that businesses hiring social media marketers want to see a return on their investment. After all, they probably hired you to make sure their business was being seen by the right people. But ROI is a really tricky thing to prove when it comes to organic social media marketing, unless you can use stone cold data. With Agora Pulse, you can easily see which posts and conversations are driving website traffic, leads, and sales without being a Google Analytics expert. Get 2 months free with Agora Pulse at thetwolauras.com/Agora Pulse and see for yourself. So what were you selling mainly over kind of Christmas?
Mostly over that Christmas kind of period, I was selling power hours and nurture packages. They were kind of like I would say my bread and butter, but like I had management clients anyway, but most of my income would still have come from those kind of things. And so over like Christmas, New Year, those sorts of times, I would always make sure that I pushed those, because I knew in my business that January was pretty quiet. So if I could get the sales in December but deliver in January, then, bonus, job's a good one. So that's what I would mostly focus on.
Yeah, so I used to do similar, push the power hours, especially if I was doing a price increase for the new year. And also the audits I remember doing and having putting together a bit of an offer on the audits, mainly, and trying to tap into their mindset of like, are you not happy with your Christmas sales this year? Let me do an audit for you and we can find out why it didn't work and blah, 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 blah. So that would be my kind of approach over that Christmas period. And I used to normally, again, probably do a price increase or do extras to encourage people to do it. And I would always have like a deadline, a cut off.
Yeah, same. And yeah, I would do the price increase for the power hours as well. And but what I would do is I would give I would like have a deadline for the price increase so you can pay for it, but you don't have to actually take it until
exactly.
like 6 weeks or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect time of year. If you should all be thinking, shall I put my prices up? The answer generally is yes, unless you've done it recently. So it is a good time of year to kind of review your prices and put your prices up. And really the same for management clients. You could say, I have got one space available for clients in 2024. My prices are going to be going up. So if you want to grab it now on the 2023 prices, book in here's my pre-qualify form.
Yeah. So
you can totally use that as a driver to push for sales. But yeah, over that Christmas period in particular, because those things like that, you obviously management, you are going to want to be able to look at that pre-qualify form. You're going to want to book in a discovery call and you're going to want that to be as fairly prompt as possible. So it's probably not the best time to be pushing for management clients if you are literally going to be putting your feet up for 2 weeks and aren't going to be able to be too responsive for that. So it's better to be, if you're thinking of your offer triangle, you'll want to be thinking, what else can I push over this Christmas period that is easy to sell? You can automate some of that kind of sales process, and then you can pick it up in the new year when you're back at your desk. So yeah, power hours, audits, even strategies.
Yeah, masterclasses, workshops. There's so many different things that you can do. Even VIP days, whatever it is that you...
Digital products.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we do it?
Okay, so I would say the first thing you need to do, well, obviously you need to decide what it is that you're going to be selling over that Christmas period. You don't want to just be selling everything.
No, we're talking about a strategy for one thing.
Yeah. And then you want to, if it's something that you've never done before and it's an offer you've never put together before, I would be talking about it now to get validation. Do actually people want this? Because you don't want to spend the next however many weeks planning for this promotional period and then no one wants it. So if it's new and no one's ever bought it before, then go and do some validation exercises on your socials to your audience, etc., to find out if they actually do want what you want to sell.
Yeah, and on that, don't just go by what other people are doing. It might be that you've seen somebody else selling something similar, so you think, well, there must be a need for it, but that doesn't mean that your audience wants it. So make sure you do validate regardless, even if you know it's something that sells really well for other people, because you want to make sure that you've got the right people ready to buy it. Yeah,
100%. So I think once you know what it is you want to sell, you need to think about, how am I going to kind of package this up to be this kind of irresistible offer. And that doesn't always have to be a discount, which I think lots of people, I'll give it a discount. Actually, rarely have I ever given a discount. It would be like we've just talked about, my prices are going up so you can get it at these prices if you want to be price driven. But sometimes it can just be as simple as I'm only going to do 10, which I've definitely done before. I'm going to book some 10. So there's that kind of scarcity element. Or it could be, if you book before the 31st of December, I'm going to be giving 25% extra free on a power hour. So you're basically giving them an extra 15 minutes, So it doesn't always, don't automatically think, hang on, I'm going to have to make, half the price of my power hour. You don't, but you do need to give somebody a reason to buy it now, because if you have power hours, for example, if that's what we go with, offered 12 months of the year, no one's going to buy it now because they'll just think, I can't think about that.
I'll buy it when I need it.
Yeah, I'll wait. Whereas actually, if you package it up to be this irresistible offer and a reason for somebody to buy it now, then I think you'll see more money in the bank as a result.
Yeah, definitely. Like going into irresistible offers is a whole several podcasts in itself. But we've got lots of information on how to craft an irresistible offer in the Social Media Managers Toolkit. So we'll make sure that the link for that is in the show notes. But if you are a Social Media Managers Toolkit owner, go and grab the launch plan and the irresistible offer guide and everything, and that will definitely help you with this. Okay, so you've created your irresistible offer. You have started to schedule your content in advance, because we've already talked about that. And you've obviously got these deadlines or this scarcity, this urgency, this reason for people to buy. What else do we need to do to make sure that we can make sales but have time off?
You need to consider how you're actually going to launch it. You need a plan. You need to think, one post is not going to work. And I know I don't need to tell you that, but one post saying this is what I'm offering, it's just not going to work. Especially, yes, we've talked about the fact that people are sat, they're scrolling, they're slumped on the sofa, they're more, and maybe because social media is a quieter time, you maybe in theory get people's attention more, but equally people's attentions go. It's only someone's going to put that box of roses in front of Laura, that's it, her attention's gone.
Well, yeah, and also if I've got to get off the sofa to go and get my credit card, you're going to need to keep reminding me, because I am not getting up when I'm eating those quality streets.
Can't get up.
True.
Yeah, so definitely think about how you can launch this offer. Like with everything, you should never just sell anything based on one post. You're going to have to actually plan out a strategic launch, which includes building people up so they're primed to buy. And then you're going to keep reminding people of this offer and probably post more than you're prepared thinking that you want to post.
But if you're putting it in a scheduler, then that kind of removes the icky feeling, because you're not putting it into the world right now. So put more content in the scheduler than you would normally feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable that you've got, I feel really comfortable with my amount of content, you haven't got enough.
Yeah.
We often are like, oh, should we do another post? And then we're like, oh, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. We do one, guess what? We get sales. So there's never a reason not to kind of just do a little bit more. What more could you do in order to get those sales? And the other thing I think you need to think about is, if you do want to take that time off, as well as the actual content, what do you need to do? What can you set up now in terms of automation for delivery of stuff, so that you don't have to respond to emails? So for example, if it was power hours that you were selling and you are on your content, maybe you're driving people to a sales page, they then, can book and pay for your power hour. You don't want them to have to email you to get a time to go and book the date they want. You want them to be able to go into Calendly or whatever, select a time, pay for it, and the job's done and you don't have to worry about it. And also maybe you've automated emails that go to them saying, excellent, you've booked, here's what happens next, blah, 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 and all of that sort of stuff. So setting up all of that now means that you can just sit and relax and eat your quality streets. By the way, if you are not based in the UK and you don't know what quality streets are, they're like a big tin, although now it's
not
plastic.
That big.
I know, it's
not
like a small
anymore.
tin now that's made of plastic. But anyway, they're chocolates that you eat at Christmas, and for some reason, no other time of the year.
Yeah,
which is
strange,
weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah, very strange, but I love them. Strawberry ones, if you don't like them, send them my way, by the way.
I've already said to Laura, I am posting her the strawberry ones. They are the worst. They're the
they
ones
are
that
the
are left.
best. No, they're the first ones to go in my house.
Anyway, we digress. Where were we?
We were talking about what you can automate.
Oh, yeah. No, that's really important, because you want to test that. Don't go, I've sorted out some automation, and then suddenly it goes wrong just as you're serving your turkey, because that is just not going to help with you taking your 2 weeks off. So make sure you're testing those automations, get someone to go and buy something, or you buy it yourself or what have you, and check that whole process works.
Yeah. And if you're using Calendly, make sure you've blocked out the dates that you're not going to be available to deliver a power hour or whatever, so that no one's booking for Boxing Day when you are nursing your hangover.
Yeah, God, imagine. Gutted. And if you are sat here thinking, oh God, well, I just don't really know how to do a launch. I don't know how to launch this product. And as Laura's mentioned, you don't know how to kind of craft that irresistible offer. Then all of this is available within the toolkit. We have a whole launch plan that you can use and follow. So it's all in there. And as we say, we'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah. And if this has left you with other questions, don't forget you can come and ask us things in our community, the Social Media Managers Hub. We will not be in there on Christmas Day, but any other time, drop in and ask us any questions. We'll pop the link for that in the show notes. And we will be back same time, same place next week with even more advice to help you to build your business as a social media manager. By the way, if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you hit follow or subscribe wherever it is you're listening. And we will see you then.
See you soon.
Toodle pip.
Ta-ra.